with all of this traveling that we're all doing and all this packing, so once we're there, it is extremely important to put your phone on vacation too. All right?
I love that idea.
I know. I mean, how much screen time do we use every single day? The average US adult spends a little over 7 hours a day on a phone. That's like
whole
literally,
day.
That's a full-time job.
Tablet
or
laptop.
Wow. And then kids spend 6 to 9 hours a day on screens. So this year, consider taking a vacation from your phone while you're taking your summer out and about. So here are some tips to help you cut back on that screen time without making yourself crazy. I mean,
let's get
7 hours a day.
Okay, I can also
wait.
I love your guys' faces because I'm just like, oh, those are rookie numbers. Oh, that's a lot.
But,
yeah. Oh no.
JC is our influencer, so 7 hours a day is almost like that's her
goal.
job.
I was like, you guys want pop trivia and pop trending? I gotta be on my phone a little bit. But no, for kids, that is an extreme amount of
But even
screen time
adult,
hours.
we're adults.
Yes.
What do we have to do for 7 hours a day on the phone?
But imagine we sit at like a traditional workspace in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day, and that's kind of the norm. And so I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here. So a lot of that 7 hours is us doing work that's just not in front of a computer screen, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if that number incorporates like when I'm using my Google Maps and I'm driving here for an hour and then driving home for an hour, that's 2 hours out of the 7.
Good question,
Because
Carolyn.
similarly, I think my screen time would shock you guys, but a lot of it is because I play YouTube videos in the background while doing something else. So it's not like I'm sitting there watching my phone, but it counts for the screen time.
That's something that we should think about too, because our phone just isn't our phone anymore. It's 5 or 16 devices at once. So even though we're saying, hey, I'm sending an email to you, I'm also checking this for that. I'm checking my maps. I have something that, so you have maybe 16 or 18 windows open like me sometimes, like you just try to go through. So maybe that time is about that as well, and not just like how much actual physical time you are scrolling.
But here's the thing, like I'm sure you all have witnesses, like even when I'm going to the grocery store, or I have literally made it a point to not look at my phone in line. I mean, it's almost like I am trying not to
Going out of
do
your
cigarettes.
way.
Like, just not look at it, just like look around. Is there I know this is so cheesy, but I'm like, is there somebody I can pay a compliment to? Is there someone I can make smile?
That's
So
really good.
that is what I do in line instead of not, but I feel like it is like quitting smoking, even just being in line for what are we in line for 3 minutes? And when you look all around, everybody is
doing
on
the
their
same thing,
phone.
everything the same
It's
thing.
like, yeah.
But it's addictive too, because while you're not looking on your phone, I'm going on my phone. What did I forget? I made myself a list on the phone. Did I forget the eggs? Did I forget that? Oh, an email just came through. Oh, I can't talk to her right now. I'm at the grocery store. Okay, did I get that? And then before you know it, oh, it's my turn. And so I think it just becomes this like part of our lives now. And you're right, we do have to do that. So
You guys let me know in the comments if you think 6 hours of screen time a day is a lot or not a lot. Are you above or below that? Because I think maybe it's a generational thing, but I'm like, no, my life is on my phone, and when I'm bored, I am gonna go on my phone. I do agree that at some point it's like, no, you gotta put your phone down. But I was like, I love TikTok. I love
No, but
Instagram.
especially when you're on vacation and you're supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to be enjoying where you are, the family and all this kind of stuff. So one of the tips is to actually tell your friends and family, I mean, this is tell your friends and family that you're trying to cut down on your screen time so you so you can have accountability.
Yes.
I have a question. One of the first or second episodes, you had mentioned that you had a lot of people who had the expectation for you to return text messages immediately because they're like, we know that you're on your phone, JC. And we had kind of talked about some different tips to help you create boundaries. Do you feel like things have changed at all?
I think they did for a little bit, and then I kind of fell back into my old ways where once that episode aired, and if you guys didn't catch that episode, I was saying that I'm one of those people that I take hours to respond back, sometimes even days, because if it doesn't need my attention immediately, then sometimes I'm just not in the mind space to start that conversation or have it. And so after that, I think I was really good about like responding to the family group chat and being like, oh my God, love it, or just acknowledging that I see the text and then getting back to them. But just in the past couple days, no, I admit that like, oh, I got a text back my cousin today because she texted me yesterday, and I know it was because I have to send a block, and I just haven't found time to do that as well. But it is hard too because I am on my phone a lot, and for me, it's a mental thing. It's not just like I am available digitally because I am on my phone, but sometimes it's so hard for me to overcome stopping what I'm doing and putting my mental space into that conversation that it is something that I continue to work at and that I'm not the best at, and I admit to. but I am going to try to actively continue to work towards that.
It's almost like, I feel like influencers like you would need 2 phones. I know a lot of people have that because it's like one phone, so if they text you, but when you're editing or when you're shooting, you're not like swiping up the text messages to get, or you're not distracted by that as well.
What would you do if you lost your phone?
Buy a new one.
Yeah.
I'd be at the Apple store in an hour.
Okay.
No, and mind you, I'm not attached to my phone. I'm not glued to my phone by any means. So I totally agree with what you're saying, where when you're on a vacation or traveling, it is very important to not have that screen time when you are trying to experience something in that sense.
And we're not saying to cut it out, it's just to be mindful. So, I mean, just like start with, okay, we're just gonna do an evening with no phones or whatever it is. And another thing that they say is a little tip is, rather than have everything on your phone, because I feel like we make excuses to look at our phone. So for example, I'm old school. I do like to print out my, what do you call it? Boarding pass.
Boarding pass.
Boarding pass and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff, when you have your itinerary, your list on the phone and all these things that you need for those vacations, then you go on the phone, and then once you do that, it makes you
get sucked in that
you
phone
get
right
sucked
away.
in to check your Instagram, to check your TikTok and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and do all those things. So.
Yeah, so try to eliminate the need for the digital side of things when there are alternatives.
Yes.
I like that. One of my
printing, who knew?
Printing, yes. One of my suggestions too.
JC has. Can I share them?
Yeah.
She has been going to the library because Boo does not have a printer. I know printers are like back in the Stone Age, but there has to be another way to get it done.
Printer. So for my little note cards, I go to the library and print it now.
Write it down.
Free.
Write it down.
For free at the library. You get 10 pages a week for free. So go LA
Library. 10 pages a week
Libraries.
for free. They charge you 10 cents a page.
Not at the library. Not at the library.
In what city? Wait a minute now.
LA County, you get 10 pages of black and white printing free every week.
Really
and that's
nice
great.
of LA County.
I am going to the wrong library. They charge me 10 cents
Oh yeah,
a page.
if I could be an advocate for anything, it'd be LA's public transportation and their library. And that is one thing where if you don't have a printer like me, go to the library.
I feel like libraries are just kind of a thing. And I was just talking with some people about when we had to do research back in college, back in my day, we would actually have to go to the library. Do you know what an encyclopedia is?
I sure do. It's the one on the phone. Merriam-Webster. It's .com, right? The
Google
.com one.
I feel like libraries need more love. So the fact that they are offering 10 pages to print. So y'all, if you don't have a printer, just head to your local library and print out your boarding passes like me and try to stay off your phone. And you can always adjust your settings, which I know is no news to anybody, but it's also about making that step to actually do it. So if you know, okay, we're going to movies, we're having a barbecue, I am going to put all my little notifications on silent just for a few hours.
Yep. And if I can give a tip as well in terms of decreasing your screen time while traveling, is one thing that I've tried to implement is don't post photos until you get home. And a big reason for that is that I've noticed that I'd want to post on my Instagram stories of the meal that I'm eating, of the site that I'm seeing. But then you're spending your whole lunch adding your filters.
And then you're inviting people into your vacation.
And then exactly, and then you're responding to messages, and then you get out of the moment. Not only that, but it's also a safety reason as well for posting when you get home, because then people don't know that you're traveling. You don't get robbed. But it's like, take the time after your trip to curate, to edit, to do all of that, and enjoy the time that you have without spending all the time on your phone editing and curating.
Because you can always do that when you get home 7 hours a day.
I have a tip for everyone that just came in. I know that sometimes when you're doing work and you send an email to someone and someone's out of the office, they send you back a response right away. Cammie is out of the office. She will return on this date. Please refer to JC, who will answer your questions. For some reason, when you get that email, you seem to respond more respectfully, like, oh, okay, I understand you're on vacation. I won't bother you. And you kind of like hold on to it, or you talk to that other person. You can do the same thing with your email settings and also with your phone when you adjust your settings. And let people know that, hey, I'm out of the office. You don't have to tell them where you are or what beach you're at or what you're having for lunch, like you said, but just say, I'm out of the office. You know, if it's important, call my mom, call my boss or somebody else. But yeah, you can do that.
Can we make text messages that say that?
I was gonna say, you could do that personally. That's actually, I never even thought to do that for a personal trip.
Phones, I don't know if all phones do it, but there's a setting that if you're driving, like if the phone connects to the Bluetooth in your car, it will automatically send a response that say, I'm driving right now, I'll get back to you.
And sometimes they'll have a menu of 3 or 4, hey, I'm driving right now, can I call you in 15 minutes later? This is not the best time.
We need an unplugged message. I'm unplugged right now. I will get back to you on this date.
I like that.
I wonder if they have that. They have to have that.
Oh, it's kind of like the Focus.
Yes.
That's
the
true.
focus option.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But it does, oh yeah, that's true. It does say
Like do
that.
not disturb, or like
Yeah.
this person has their notifications silenced, which
Yeah.
is great because every time I see that, I'm just like, oh, they'll get back to me when they can. But it
Yeah.
would be nice to have an away
To
message
a
being like,
date.
I'm
A date.
traveling.
Yes. With a
I
date
like that
when you
idea.
can expect a
I'll be back
response.
on the 15th.
Yeah.
Don't bother me until then.
But it also sets the expectation for yourself that like, hey, I told them I'm not available,
Yeah.
so now it's off my
Yeah.
shoulders. I don't need
Right.
to worry about it. I love that tip.